When the Kuva Lich weapons were first announced, the one that I was most excited for appeared to be a sniper rifle by the name of Chakkhurr, or Chak for short. Now, odd name aside, it seemed to be an extremely powerful weapon because it had a base of 50% crit chance and 2.3x crit multi. And of course everybody thought, hey, high critical chance sniper, Eidolon Hunting. Now the Chak wasn't exactly what I was expecting, neither is it a sniper rifle, but it's still one hell of a primary weapon, fully capable of annihilating Eidolons like there's no tomorrow. And today we're going to be diving deeper into this primary weapon. As always, my name is Leyzar, and I got a couple of builds laid out for you. Something cheap, something affordable that most players should be able to build, but of course we also have the quote-unquote endgame setup with a Riven, and we're also going to be talking about Eidolon setups and the Chakkhurr. That said, my friends, I usually take my time and explain a lot of the aspects that veteran players are already accustomed to or should be accustomed to. So in case you're a veteran and you already know most of this stuff, please bear with me. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the Chak. Let's begin by checking out how the weapon handles without any mods equipped. And for that, just a couple of free shots. Now the Chak is a projectile based weapon, and as you can see when it comes to the projectile flight speed, it's pretty decent towards great, I would say. Take a look at 54 meters till the target. As you can see, it only takes about a second and a half to actually hit your target. So for Eidolon hunts, it's pretty decent. And for close and medium range shots, if you want super long range shots, you gotta lead your targets just a little bit. And the Chak also has another trick up its sleeve. Now the projectiles detonate upon contact in 2.7 meters worth of area. And the damage split is something like this. 35% to the explosion, 65% to the projectile physically hitting the target. So yes, you do want to hit your target. You can't go 100% for console shots. Now let's talk about the negatives of this weapon just a little bit. As you can see, the reload, oh my god, the reload, why? Why 3.3 seconds? I mean, don't get me wrong, that's a really nice animation and all whatnot, but 3.3 seconds for a magazine of 11 is a bit on the long side, but it's gonna be just fine for Eidolon hunts, and I'll demonstrate that just a tad later. One more thing. This weapon has extra bonus when it comes to headshot damage, 50% more than average weapon. So again, you do want to go for headshots, you're going to be getting a whole lot more damage. And that's pretty much it. It packs quite a wallop, but it does have some serious usability issues. I don't really have a problem with these usability issues when it comes to Eidolon hunts as much as I have in normal average everyday missions. Keep in mind that this is a rifle, not a sniper, even though it takes sniper ammo, so if you want to pump up its damage with an aura, you're gonna go for rifle amp. Now, let's jump into stats to have a closer look at what we're dealing with. When it comes to mod capacity, of course, 80 out of 80 for any Kuva weapon. All of these Kuva weapons function like the paracesis. If you need to get all of the mastery points out of these Kuva weapons, you're gonna have to plug in 5 forma, so you get to the mod capacity of 40 out of 40. Then you jump into actions, plug in the Auto King Catalyst, and get your mod capacity to 80 out of 80. Now with that out of the way, keep in mind that the Chak comes with two polarities, two V symbols, and the polarity on the XLS mod slot is a dash or Naramon. Accuracy 100, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that heavy caliber is actually usable on a projectile based weapon. Ha! Perish the thought! This is why we test, my friends, okay? This is why we test to make sure that everything functions the way it's supposed to. Or maybe DE changed some rules on us. So I slapped on all the multi-shot I got, plus heavy cal, 25.2 accuracy, and this will be more than enough. I mean, take a look. What is this, 30 meters to my target? Take a look. The projectile lands in the crosshairs and all of the multi-shot as well. Keep in mind that the recoil is a bit jumpy. I forgot to mention that earlier. So as you can see, you do have a bit of a jumpy recoil, and the fire rate, not exactly fantastic, is it? But again, this is a one-shot affair, that kind of a rifle. And again, heavy caliber, 100% usable, 100% recommend, unless you're going with chroma. But more on chroma just a tad later. So heavy cal works on a projectile based weapon. Again, really weird. Critical chance 50%. This is the highest base critical chance of basically all the weapons in Warframe. It's tied with the Dread and the Explodey bow, the lens, and I think something else. But anyway, this is the highest base critical chance with a 2.3x critical multiplier, an above average critical multiplier. The fire rate sucks, I'll be honest. The magazine for how hard this weapon is hitting is not bad, but when you couple it with the reload speed of 3.3, why? Why so much? But yeah, there you go. Riven Dispo, smack in the middle, 3 out of 5, just like for any other brand new weapon added to the game. 27% status chance, but again, I'm treating this one more like a sniper of sorts, without the combo multiplier and all whatnot. You can't really build a weapon like this, or of course you can if you want to. You shouldn't really build a weapon like this into status, at least not from my humble point of view. Trigger semi, of course. And we got electricity and impact. We got electricity blast slash impuncture on the radial attack. The radial attack is the explosion. Now my roll on the check is a 58% electricity, so the roll is really good. Electricity is very flexible in the case of the check because you can make corrosive and you can also make radiation when we go in for Eidolon hunts. And rest assured, my friends, the check can consistently and reliably one-shot Eidolon limbs without any issue at all. But before we get to Eidolon hunts and all whatnot, let's have a look at the standard build for normal, average, everyday missions. And we got damage with serration and heavy caliber, multi-shot with split chamber, vigilante armaments, critical chance, critical damage combo between vital sense and point strike, and infected clip. In my case, it makes corrosive with the base electricity on the weapon. So if you guys maybe roll toxin, which I do recommend unless you want to go Eidolon hunting, if you guys want to go Eidolon hunting with a weapon, and by the end of the vid, I will assume that you might want to do, then go for an electricity progenitor such as Valkyrie or Volt, or you can just build radiation with something like an Equinox. You can have radiation and corrosive on this weapon if you get a radiation progenitor, like again, Equinox. I think there's one more, but I forgot who it was. Let me know in the comment section down below. Now, normally I do this. I give you a standard elemental setup tested against some heavy goons, then go for hunter munitions because everybody loves hunter munition, blah blah, etc. But in this case, there's no need to make that choice. I'm just gonna go straight for hunter munitions with a corrosive base setup. And you might say, is hunter munitions worth it? Yeah, of course it is. You got plus 100% critical chance, so all of your bullets, all of your projectiles that will be landing on the target will have the chance to apply that slash and all of the explosion damage as well. So yes, 100% go for Hunter Mumu. When it comes to the weapon Excelos mod slot, my friends, this is entirely up to you. You can go for something like a ammo mutation if you feel you have issues when it comes to ammo. Personally, I never really had any issues with ammo, but on the other hand, I have a reflex. If I'm out of ammo, I just drop a pad. That's just something I got used to over the years with Warframe, so there you go. Now, finally, we're gonna go with Vigilante Supplies because this one gives you that chance to enhance critical hits for primary weapons. And now we're gonna be checking the build on Mirage just to make sure that, ooh, no, this will not do, no Sentinel, no anything, with Nairu. Okay, very good. We're ready to test on Corrupted Heavy Goons, level 120. Yeah, we can test on those, but it's better to re-simulate. If you're going for headshots, this weapon will absolutely annihilate. Take a look at the value of the bleeds. 22 foul. Freaking outstanding. The lower... okay. The lower value bleeds are from bleeds applied from the explosion. Take a look at this. This is freaking insane. This is a one-shot on Corrupted Heavy Gunners. Level 120 without any Riven Mod, without any fancy anything. I don't even have the 60/60 electricity mod on this one. Look at all this power. 35,000 bleed. You know why? That, my friends, was a orange slash on the target. That's why it went a whole lot higher than before. And the critical chance right now on the weapon is 125% because I'm just using point strike, but nothing's stopping me from using Argon Scope. This is the cheap build, okay? This is the cheapo build I'm showcasing right now, which is why I don't have Argon Scope, but I can go even higher than this. As you can see, the weapon is just a freaking full-blown monster. If you go for headshots, I'm getting that 50% extra headshot damage that the weapon is equipped with. Now, let's reset these targets, and again, with the same cheapo build, what we're gonna be doing next is going for body shots. Because of course the story will be vastly different. And let's be honest here, it's not exactly the most easiest thing in the world to get consistent headshots with a projectile based weapon even when the projectile moves really nicely. But of course you can also get Zephyr and fix the problem with it being a projectile based weapon, or you can use a Volt Shield, even though the Volt Shield thing is more for static affair. But anyway, I digress. Let's go for body shots. As you can see, things change a whole lot. So if you're the sniper type, okay, if you're the guy that consistently gets headshots upon your enemies, then this will be a fantastic weapon for you because it is so freaking satisfying to land a headshot. I mean, that's a headshot. Look at what a headshot did. And I had to hit the same target about 5 or 6 times body shots to actually kill it. So yes, headshots are extremely satisfying with this weapon. So if you're a sharpshooter, you gotta get this one. it's a weapon that rewards skilled gameplay, and there's not a whole lot of things that require skill in Warframe. But anyway, that's another topic for another time. What else should we talk about? Eidolon Hunting? Well, before we get to Eidolon Hunting, let's remove a couple of mods. Let's go with more expensive mods, right? You got Vigilante Armaments, which we can get rid of, and we can go for even more critical chance with Argon Scope. Now, don't get me wrong, Argon Scope is not like it's the most powerful mod in Warframe or something like that, but it gives you critical chance for primary weapons. You don't have a whole lot of sources for that. Point Strike gives you 150%, which is a whole lot more than Argon Scope, but again, sources of critical chance. Now in this case, you might actually think that it's more beneficial to drop heavy caliber and go for bladed rounds. Let me show you really quick. Bladed rounds will offer you 120% critical damage, just the same amount as Vital Sense, but even like so, I would still recommend you go with heavy cal. So bear that one in mind. Again, the accuracy penalty, I'm not really feeling it on this weapon. As you saw there, every time I actually aim for a headshot, I was able to get that headshot multiplier. So heavy caliber's accuracy penalty isn't really felt on this weapon, not at all. Now we got our extra critical chance, and of course we're gonna be going straight for headshots. Take a look at that. The value of the bleeds. In normal average of, oh my god, that was... In normal gameplay, you're not really gonna stop from shooting your target, but as you can see, those glorious, glorious, glorious numbers, I know that's what you guys wanna see. So again, if you're the sharpshooter type, this is the weapon for you. But if you're the kind of guy that prefers the Amprex approach, or the Ignis Wraith approach, or the Fulmin, or the Exceltra, this is not a weapon for you. Now, let's talk about Rivens. Riven Dispo 3 out of 5, so they will make an impact. This is a loaner from a friend of mine. Thank you so much, mate. Wait. Where'd he go? This one with electricity and critical chance, and my critical chance goes to 267.9% because of Argon Scope. Argon Scope gives you 67.5%. The rest of the build is pretty much the same, and I'm gonna have a whole lot more corrosive on the weapon thanks to the Riven. So I got guaranteed orange crits and a 67.9% chance at a red crit with each and every strike landed on the target. Of course, Corrupted Heavy Goons level 120. When it comes to Rivens, my friends, as you saw there, the weapon performed very, very well with no Riven setups, so you don't need to buy a Riven for this one, but you do need to land that headshot. That's entirely up to you. As for a setup such as this, that's gonna be a one-shot, a clear one-shot without any bleed, without any sorts of issue. As you can see, that is just freaking phenomenal, and I love this weapon. Now, don't get me wrong. It has so many usability issues, I even lost count. This is not a weapon for ease of use, this is not a weapon for normal, average, everyday missions, but that doesn't mean that the Czech cannot pack one serious punch. I love the weapon. Again, it's for a little bit of dumb fun. If you're gonna use it with a frame that can apply some crowd control, perhaps think about the synergies with Harrow. You might say that, hey, even more crit, right? How high can you go in crit? You're gonna get some diminishing returns eventually. Since the weapon has a high amount of base crit chance from the start, I would think about using it with something else. But again, the option is entirely yours. When it comes to damage buffs, Mirage is the way to go. Now, speaking about the way to go, normally this is when I amp up everything with Warframe buffs, but it's one-shots anyway. Do you need to see more? How about we talk about Eidolon Hunts instead? When it comes to Eidolon Hunt, there are two primary killers. There's Chroma, which most players love because he's comfortable, he's reliable, he's definitely usable, and there's also Mirage Prime. Now, Mirage deals a lot more damage than Chroma. Link in the cards right now for a full demonstration of Mirage versus Chroma. But the problem with Mirage is that she's not as comfortable to use as Chroma. Mirage can consistently and reliably one-shot Eidolon limbs with the Chakkhurr with no Riven whatsoever, and Chroma struggles even with a Riven build, so that's kind of the difference. So let's talk about the build. What would you use? So I encourage you try it with Mirage and the Sancti Castanas, this self-electricity proc. It's a whole lot more usable than before. If you don't know what that's all about and you want a quick tutorial on it, look at the cards right now. As for the build you're going to be seeing in the following footage, there's no Riven on it because Mirage does not need a Riven. Argon Scope is not really usable. Vigilante Supplies, this thing right here, just keep Vigilante Supplies for the 5% extra chance to enhance critical hits from primary weapons. You don't need to. Again, you can use this one on your little Sentinel weapon. So what you can also use is Stabilizer. Okay, minus 60% weapon recoil. But again, you should be getting consistent one-shots on Synovia, so you shouldn't really need to reshoot a Synovia, and you shouldn't really need to reload the weapon during a single Eidolon. You should only need to reload between Terry, Gary, Harry, Mary, and Larry. whoever came up with those names. But anyway, we need damage, we need multi-shot, we need critical chance, and we need critical damage. We do not need infected clip. We need radiation on the weapon, so we're gonna go with a bit more heat so we can make some radiation with Hellfire. Of course, we're not gonna go for the 60-60 mods because Eidolons are immune to status, so we're gonna go for the 90 mods. And this will be the build that you guys are gonna see, just a little bit more multi-shot on the weapon with Vigilante armaments. This is the build that is capable of consistently one-shotting Eidolon limbs with Mirage Prime, and this will be the build for Mirage that I used in that demonstration rifle amp, because again, this is not a sniper rifle. So, have a look.
Okay.
One shot with Mirage. Plenty of time. One shot's made easy. The limbs. One shot. And by the way, I didn't even have any clones there. Willing to give up one. One shot, by the way, easy. One shot. Selfish chroma build. But if you want a challenge and you want more damage and you don't want to spend money on a Riven, you can supplement that with skill and knowledge. So there you go. Got it? Activate so it doesn't hurt.
Okay.
Easy.
Okay.
Easy. Yeah, man. It's not a problem. It's like consistent. 100%. No problem one-shotting with Mirage.
Nice.
Right, here we go. Maximum damage, yeah. Oh, that was late. That was late, Sobarinho. You were so late there. You're gonna get fired. One shot through the Volt Shield, projectile-based weapon. Not a problem. And that's what kind of performance you can expect out of the Czech and Lady Mirage Prime. As you saw there, consistent one-shots without any sorts of issues. You can even get a one-shot on the final Eidolon if you get that headshot multiplier. Now, let's be honest for a second, shall we? It's time to draw some conclusions. When it comes to Eidolon Hunting, this is definitely a powerful weapon if you want to use it with Mirage. With Chroma, I wouldn't really use it because, again, I can't guarantee you guys your one-shots, okay? It simply doesn't deal enough damage with Chroma. That said, for normal, average, everyday missions, I wouldn't touch this thing with a 10-foot flagpole. It's way too slow. It's way too slow and it's way too awkward to use. I'm not gonna drop my Axeltron, my Fulmin, my Arcal Plasmor, my Ignis Wraith, my Amprax, whatever, you name it. There's a whole lot of other weapons when it comes to normal missions that will perform a whole lot better and are a bit more easy to handle than this thing. On the other hand, not everybody plays for ease of use or how easy it is to annihilate high-level targets. Some people like to get satisfaction out of their gameplay, and I totally respect that. If you're the kind of sharpshooter that always wants that headshot, then you're gonna be feeling very gratified by this weapon, because again, it does reward skill gameplay. As an Eidolon Hunter, it's a competent weapon in the right hand, in the sense that I would definitely go for the Czech instead of the Lanka, but I would not pick up the Czech instead of the Rubico Prime, for example, which is still the daddy of all Eidolon Hunters, at least as far as I'm concerned. And that's pretty much it, my friends. As always, my name is Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. If you got any sorts of feedback for me, I would love to read it in the comment section down below. Oh, and by the way, it's fine that this is a projectile-based weapon. It synergizes beautifully well with Volt's shield, so bear that one in mind. You can also find me on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, all the usual places. And if you love the content, consider supporting us via Patreon. But until next time, my friends, bye-bye.